Olive oil, cold pressed, and of the very best quality. It's November and harvest time on Kürk. A lot of the oil is produced here by small family-run firms like this one belonging to the Tudor family. Production runs for 3 weeks around the clock. Others would use the waste material to produce oil too, they tell us, but here the waste is used for compost. It's not a pretty sight, but it's valuable biomass. The local deputy mayor wants to use the biomass to produce green energy.
We've been told so much about how the climate is changing, especially recently. So we have to think globally, but we also have to make an effort here at the local level to reduce the human impact on the environment.
Studies show that electricity and heat can indeed be generated from olive remains. Kürk plans to open an energy plant powered by biowaste from all over the region. It's expected to generate electricity for 500 households, reducing the local CO2 output by 1,000 tons a year. We pay a visit to another island close by. There are no people living here, but there are plenty of sheep. They roam free throughout the year. The shepherd comes here regularly to tend the animals. The landing stage used to be completely dark in non-daylight hours. But now there's a solar-powered floodlight. It charges up during the day, and once the sun sets, it lights up the entire area.
We've considered expanding the system, because in the buildings up at the top we have a generator, and we always have to lug fuel up there to get power. So we want to install solar plants there too.
So far, the project has more symbolic value than anything else, but it shows that local authorities want to use renewable energy. And climate change is no distant problem. It's very much in evidence here, with the rising sea level, for example. The town of Ivanić-Grad is less than an hour from the Croatian capital, Zagreb. This is an oil-producing area. Aging oil pumps dot the landscape, highlighting the country's ongoing dependence on fossil fuels. And the new buildings aren't necessarily energy efficient either. But the authorities are planning to change that. A young couple in the town are interested in a low-energy house. Right now, they can only visit this information center run by the International Climate Initiative. But 50 low-energy houses are to be built soon, subsidized by the city authorities. With specially insulated walls and double glazing, they cost considerably more than other houses here, but use half the energy, saving money and around half a ton of CO2 a year.
Obviously, it's not just about the money. No one knows what will happen with climate change. Things seem to be getting worse. So it needs to be made clear to people that they have to help protect the environment so that we can all lead a healthier life.
Many young people from Zagreb have moved out to the surrounding region. But the capital still remains the country's economic and cultural hub. And this is where environment policy is decided. The country's energy consumption has risen steadily in recent years. But Croatia wants to join the European Union, and so it needs to comply with the EU's climate protection goals. That involves significantly reducing its emissions. No easy task.
Climate protection is, of course, not necessarily the Croatians' #1 priority. They're more worried about the economy, about whether they have a job or not. But nevertheless, climate change and protecting the environment are becoming more important for people here.
Marko Majdanjic is one such example. He set up solar panels on his roof at a cost of around €4,000. That's a lot of money here. But the project was sponsored by the Regional Energy Agency. He too is saving around half a ton of CO2 a year thanks to his solar panels. And even on cloudy days, the family say they always have enough hot water.
Sometimes it's even too hot.
The system is running at about 50 degrees Celsius today. The neighbors have also come to take a look.
They were really interested when they heard that it basically pays for itself within about 3 to 5 years. But it's still quite an investment. I think a lot more people would do it if the state would help out a little more.
But thousands of state-owned buildings are still waiting to be renovated, like the school in Donja Stubica, for example. It was built in the 1960s, and it uses a lot of electricity. The local authorities have at least put in new windows. This too was sponsored by the International Climate Initiative. It's a relatively small thing, but a step in the right direction.
I think the most important thing is that people are informed. They need to be aware of things if climate protection is to continue progressing in Croatia.
A development that's likely to prove especially important for future generations.